From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's podcast, I do my monthly discussion with Ryan Waterbury of One Dog Solutions. And the topic today is the WordPress community. Grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation that Ryan and I had. This episode of the SDM Show is sponsored by Stunning Digital Marketing, the agency to handle all your WordPress website security needs. Go on over to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and find out how we can help you secure your website so you no longer have an issue with backups, being hacked, or your website being compromised. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here, and today we're doing our monthly segment. I've got my good friend Ryan Waterbury with me. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm doing pretty good.
And you and I were talking over the last couple of days, and we thought we'd do something a little different and dive into the WordPress community. And I need to start the conversation by kind of saying there's two parts to WordPress. There's the people in the community, like the devs, the designers, the developers, the social media people like you and I, who are sort of tuned into what we call the inside baseball or the inside workings of how things go on. And then there's our clients. And at the end of the day, our clients have no concept to what's going on in the community. They frankly don't care. And at the end of the day, really what they want is results from their website. So thoughts on that?
That's exactly true. And as I've gotten more in tune with WordPress and really centered on, WordPress being my CMS of choice, you get to know more people in the community and learn more things and different ways of doing things and, advance your technical skill set and learn things that help you provide a platform and tools for your clients to produce results for them, whether it's more sales, more brand awareness, whether it's an activism site that gets a lot of donations to accomplish their mission. The point is, you're a professional in the digital communication space to help your clients accomplish their goals. And, WordPress, it's still the, I don't know if I want to say elephant in the room or has the lion's share of the market. But it's one of the tools that, whether you want to use it or not, clients sometimes ask for it.
Yeah, it's true. But I think, one of the problems is, and I've said this, and I'll say this, and I'll say this, even though WordPress is my tool of choice, is what you should be selling your clients is the results they get from from having a website, not what the back end is. Because I think at the end of the day, the client could care less what technology is running on the back end.
Absolutely. And what clients care about is results. They, I kind of talked about that. They want more brand awareness, more sales, more donations. Every website has a little bit different goal, but people want to see growth and an increase in whatever their conversion goal is. And that's their care. To clients, a website is just a tool. And being in the marketing space as well as the development space, I had spent I think maybe a little more time in local groups for SEO and marketing, and attending those conferences before I hit my first WordCamp. And I will tell you, based on a recent interview, that I said I can't give you out the secret sauce. That's my inner marketer talking. That how to do things, just even technically setting something up. Like, here's where you put the code for your Facebook pixel. That was held pretty tight in marketing groups. They wanted to talk philosophy and trends, but no one was really helpful. When I went to my first WordCamp, I was just floored with, oh, here's exactly how you do this. Let me email you this snippet of code. Here, use this tool. It works way better for these reasons. And I was just amazed at the difference in attitude and how friendly and open the WordPress community seemed when I had started attending WordCamps. It was just a night and day difference in comparison to being in a room full of marketers.
Yeah, it's so true. And being in both spaces, I get that. And one thing I'll say is, having been to a numerous number of WordCamps in Toronto and being at a numerous number of meetups in Toronto, we have before the pandemic, a large meetup contingent. I find most of my conversations, when I think back at them, are the ones around the meetup. Not so much the presentation at the meetup, not so much the presentations at the WordCamp. The last WordCamp before the pandemic I was at, on the Saturday, I saw one presentation all day, yet I was at the WordCamp all day. And the one presentation I saw, just for interest, was Adrian Toby's Groundhog presentation, who I know very well. And I spent most of the time in the hallway talking to people and catching up with people, and in the break room talking about people and what they're working on and what they're doing and what it mattered. Because I think the value in this community to going to WordCamps and meetups is the people, not necessarily the technology or the presentations.
Yeah, absolutely. The hallway chats are always much more beneficial, and networking with other agencies, other devs, designers, and casual users. You learn more and understand how people are using the tool to accomplish different goals. And those are extremely positive experiences that, I think, you touched on it before the pandemic. We had a great monthly meetup here and a pretty active local WordPress space. But since the pandemic, we haven't had an active meetup. We had one virtual WordCamp for the upper Midwest here, which was usually Minneapolis, St. Paul. There's no virtual one this year again, which is kind of disappointing. So I see things just have changed in the WordPress community a little bit, that there's a little more sand kicking, and it's not as friendly as it used to be.
No, and I'm going to turn around and cause a little bit of fun here. Our good friend, Mr. Nick Diego, is now in the Minnesota area, so I think I'd like to see him jump in with WP Engines Cloud, because that's who he works for on the Dev Advocate team, and maybe get in touch with you and let's get something going in the Minnesota area. So, Nick,
ironically enough, he's doing he's doing a virtual meetup on Friday to talk about no code full site editing, and I was happy to see that even though it's virtual, that now a new local dev advocate is stepping up to do some more meetup activities.
Yep, I would agree. And everybody kind of looks at the WordPress community and looks at Facebook and looks at Twitter. But I can also tell you there's some there's some big meetup groups, and we'll kind of get into how they function in a minute, going on LinkedIn as well, including one I'm involved with, the WordPress global product community. And I think what we got to be really careful of is supporting the community doesn't mean just jumping in a group and pushing your work. It means being helpful and trying to answer a question and, trying to get involved and trying to be helpful to those who need the help and trying to answer a problem.
Yeah, the Genius Bar or help desk at WordCamps was one of the most fantastic tools for a lot of the casual users that aren't like you and I, that are inside the community, understand the inside baseball, work with everything around WordPress every day, but just to get your questions answered in, an informal and quick and easy manner. I think we need more of that.
I do too. And we were talking before we went to record. One of the things I'm doing next week, and at the time this recording comes out, will probably already be done actually, is I'm speaking with the WordPress Atlanta meetup group on a beginner to intermediate way of locking down your website using free tools. And, I'm just trying to give back. And a lot of these people are people that they go to a meetup, they're not involved in the inside baseball, they don't understand how things function, and they just need some help. So I think that's really important, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the turn I'd like to see come back. And it's just been the 2 years of lacking some local involvement, and we're just starting to see WordCamp Europe happen for the first time in a couple of years, and that went pretty well. WordCamp US, I was sorely disappointed that the venue that they chose and the limit on attendees was pretty tight, but I understand some of the concerns. So I think WordCamp Asia in 23 is happening in its normal fashion. So I'm kind of interested to see how these events start back up, and just to see some more of the positive help out there that I really discovered when I got involved with the community. Honestly, some of the other CMS groups that I've been involved with, Drupal in particular, the developers aren't very nice and not very helpful when you have a problem. So it was a marked change coming into WordPress, and just haven't seen that as much lately.
No, it's true. One of the things that we'll go to some of the inside track that I have a big issue of right now in our community is people like to jump up and down and complain. And they like to say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. And my response always is, did you open up a GitHub ticket for your issue? Because that's how we get tickets back and things taken care of. And they'll say, A, I can't be bothered, or B, I don't know how. Well, the second one's really easy to deal with, because I know in talking to a number of the dev advocates, and that includes people like Brian Gardner, people like Nick, who we've talked about, people like my colleague Courtney Robertson at GoDaddy, people like Sam Munoz, Birgit Polyhack, Ann McCarthy at Automatic. All you have to do is reach out to these people and say, I really don't know how to open up a ticket. Will you help me? And I know they're all going to look at me after hearing this podcast and say, you called us out again. And my response to that is, well, you group of people keep saying if people need help, come see you. So go see them, folks. Like, help yourselves, please.
There's a lot of open tickets with some of the changes over the past couple of years with WordPress, and I think you're inviting even more tickets, which is a good thing because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed with the big G, Gutenberg, but which is a little bit of a contentious subject when we talk about community and automatic in particular. But yeah, absolutely asking for help, asking for support in the appropriate channels. And they're out there. Sometimes there's just a little bit of education that needs to happen and, testing and finding these bugs and, submitting feature requests is, one of the first steps to getting some of these things solved in core.
And I know a lot of the dev advocates, and I've mentioned a few of them, many of them have said, if you need some help, I'll jump on a one-to-one with you if you need a half hour somewhere. So really use them, guys. They are a big part of this community, even though they work for big hosting companies or even automatic. They can be extremely helpful, and we can't lose sight of that,
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to give back by writing code for core or doing specific testing. Just getting back to answering questions that everyday users have and helping them accomplish their goals and solve their problems so they can get back to doing what they really care about. And their website becomes a functional tool that helps them accomplish whatever their mission is even better.
Yeah. I don't write code, but as I've mentioned, I help manage a WordPress community group, and I think that's giving back to WordPress. And I'm not so sure the Fight for the Future program sees it that way, but I would argue that I probably give back more than 5% of my time. So I don't know that that's the case.
Absolutely. And my GitHub repo is completely empty. I do almost everything local. And like I said, that's just my inner marketer. Don't let anybody see anything in public. Yep. It's your secret sauce. But that's one of my goals is to publish some of the code that I've written to solve some simple problems and fix some issues that is publicly available. And it's out there for everyone to use. So that's, just helping people solve little issues really can make somebody's day. And I can't tell you how many times I've, gone through Stack Overflow, gone through the forum on GitHub and just banging my head against the wall on how to solve a problem. And then the light bulb goes on. And you figure out how to write that little snippet of code, and it solves everything for your day. Just sharing some of those little things can take the pain and agony out of a day for somebody else.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just knowing who to reach out to and say, "You have a minute? Can you give me a hand? Do you have any idea?"
Sometimes. Oh, absolutely. If I've got a WooCommerce question, I'm gonna ping Bob on Twitter and use some of those resources. I've gotten great responses because I'm not a specialist in every single aspect of WordPress. I'm very much a generalist, and so I know what I know, and if I can help, I will. But understanding who to go to ask for help is sometimes part of that battle too.
Yep. I would also say, the big problem with the community as it grows, and WordPress is over 40% of the internet, depending on what stat you want to listen to at any one number of days. There's always a bunch of people in our community amongst many other communities that like drama. And I really don't want to spend a lot of time on the drama side of it, but all I'll say is I choose to avoid it, and I choose to avoid it like the plague. because that's not why I'm in the community. I'm in the community because I like generally the people that I like to converse with, and those who want to create drama, frankly, I can just ignore.
I wholeheartedly agree. And whenever we talk about, open source, nonprofit projects, there's always a little bit of politics and drama, and it's unavoidable. But it also turns off a lot of good people from contributing and continuing to participate in that. Doesn't invite more people to help answer questions, contribute code. It starts pushing them to look for other solutions and look outside of the WordPress community. So as we try and grow WordPress, finding ways to be positive and avoiding the drama, and there's plenty of it out there, but I agree. I tune it out. I take a lot of breaks from social media to do that, put my head down, and I do write code, so that's where I find a little solace. But the drama's going to be there always, but our clients don't really care about that. A lot of them don't even know it happens or exists. It doesn't necessarily affect them.
Yeah, a lot of clients don't even know what a WordCamp is or care where to get help, because frankly, that's what they hire us for. Or even, as I've said, care that WordPress is their back end. They just name WordPress because they hear it's a good CMS. But, at the end of the day, to them, it doesn't matter. Does their website generate leads which convert to sales? That's what the clients really care about. They really don't care about the rest of it.
Exactly.
It's an ongoing issue. Is there anything you think we can do to strengthen the community a little more?
I touched on it earlier, but I'm looking forward to seeing more in-person meetups. And I've talked about this recently in my blog and newsletters that as things change, we need to evolve and change. But one thing that needs to happen, especially when you look at things from a digital marketing perspective and automation, sometimes you lose that personal touch, and just being positive and helpful and making a good connection and offering real solid help is something that I think we all need to take a step back and look at again. As we've done more things digitally, we lose a little bit of sight and lose a little bit of touch with, just being people and being good people to other people.
Yep, it's true. And I think being good people to other people is a big deal, to be honest with you. I think it's something we all forget about. And in today's world, even more so, I think it's even more important.
Absolutely. From your peers to colleagues, friends, family, clients, having a positive outlook and sharing, that good mojo and positive energy goes a long way. You don't know what kind of day somebody else is having. They could be having a great day, or they could be having an overbooked day like we've got today.
Yeah, it's so true. Is there anything else you want to add, Ryan, or is that pretty well cover most of it?
I think that touched on everything that was on my mind.
Yeah, and I think your mind and my mind are very similar. So I think I think the key is just to be good to people and to kind of go from there and stay out of the drama and help people and make things happen. I think that's really important.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ryan. Somebody wants to reach out to you. How's the best way?
You can find me on every social media outlet at One Dog Solutions. You can email me, ryan.waterbury@onedog.solutions, or visit my website, onedog.solutions.
Have yourself an amazing day, Ryan, and thanks for the chat.
Yeah, likewise, you too.
Bye-bye. This episode of the SDM Show is sponsored by Stunning Digital Marketing, the agency to handle all your WordPress website security needs. Go on over to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and find out how we can help you secure your website so you no longer have an issue with backups, being hacked, or your website being compromised. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com. A very special thank you to Ryan of One Dog Solutions for joining me today on our monthly collaboration podcast. It was great to talk about the WordPress community and our feelings on it. Typically, Ryan and I release a podcast the first Friday of every month, so stay tuned in September for another great collaboration topic. Thanks again, Ryan. Thank you for listening to this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is brought to you by Rob Cairns and Stunning Digital Marketing. For more information about Rob Cairns and Stunning Digital Marketing, go to stunningdigitalmarketing.info. From here, you can connect to us on social media, go to our website, and even go to the podcast to subscribe. This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much. Keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Make your business succeed.